Hello, today's the 11th of May. This is my journal entry, and I want to talk about inspiration, motivation, and procrastination. If you've been on this journey with me, comment the word journey. When I reflect back on my life and I look at the moments where I'm the most inspired, I'm the most motivated, and I procrastinate the least, these are the moments where I am the most clear on who I am in that chapter of life. I'm the most clear on the things that I do want, and I'm the most clear on the things that I don't want. And when I have that clarity, I don't procrastinate much at all. I'm super inspired and motivated. And as I look back to these moments of my life where I'm super driven, I notice one interesting thing, and it's that the previous version of me, anytime I want to feel more inspired and more motivated, I used to look in the wrong places. I used to try to read books that would motivate me and inspire me. And then I would also try to find videos online, documentaries, etc. And while these things did work, I found that the quality of motivation and the quality of inspiration from those didn't compare to the quality of inspiration and motivation I got and felt when I was clearer on who I was and the things I wanted and the things I didn't want. And also when it came to procrastination, in order to decrease procrastination, my go-to move was read books on productivity and then watch videos of YouTubers online who understand productivity. And look, those things, again, they worked, but it wasn't as good as being clear and having more clarity. And I thought a lot about that. Why did I always go to those sources? And I think the reason why we go to videos and we go to books is because it's easy, right? It's a lot easier to do that than actually getting to know yourself. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it's true. Because to learn how to be more productive, if I follow steps A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I will get a fairly good result. Now, I think that's a science, whereas getting to know yourself and gaining more clarity, that's not a science, it's an art form. And when you move into the realm of art, it's so complex and it's so messy. Because if you really think about this, and this is the way I think about it, I look at life as being chapters. And I look at my life as being chapters of about 5 to 10 years. Some chapters will last 5 years, some chapters will last 10 years. And it's already complex when it comes to that, because you might listen to this and you might think to yourself, well, my chapters are just 1 year, or my chapters are 1 month, or my chapters are 3 years. So there's a layer of complexity because the way we define chapters is already going to be different. But then more than this, in every single chapter of your life, you are a slightly different person, which means that the clarity that has served you in one chapter will not serve you in the next chapter. And the clarity you achieve in this chapter won't serve you in the chapter thereafter. Clarity in life is a moving target and it's extremely complex. No wonder we don't try to seek clarity when we're trying to feel more inspired and we're trying to be more motivated and we're trying to decrease levels of procrastination. No wonder we don't seek clarity, but rather we seek the books and the YouTube videos. And I'm making this journal entry to remind myself that, look, keep reading the books, keep going to the YouTube videos, keep going to the Instagram videos. It does work somewhat. But if you want a more robust energy source, if you want a higher quality source of inspiration and motivation, then seek clarity, get to know yourself. It's crazy, right? I mean, I've watched Game of Thrones over 5 times. Damn it, I love this series. It's such a good series, one of the best ever. And I know the characters intimately. I know the relationships between each character. I understand them and I understand their humor. I know what pisses them off. I know the things they like. I know the things they don't like. And the sad thing is, I know those characters so well. Yet there were times in my life I didn't even know myself as well as I knew the characters in Game of Thrones. And simply it's because I've sat on the couch spending hundreds of hours getting to know these characters, yet I have not done the same with myself. And I guess in the hopes of making this somewhat pragmatic, I want to share with you some questions that I ask myself often. And these are just a list of random questions that are really personalized to me. And you might find some that are helpful to you. And I just want to say that I think it's important we find our own questions to ask ourselves, because some of these questions might not apply to you at all. But I'll share with you a few, right? So I've got different categories where I ask myself different questions. And in the growth section, I've got a lot. I'm just going to share with you 3 from each in the sake of saving time. But in my growth category, I've got the first question is, Vin, what challenges do you want to overcome in this chapter of life? Vin, what can you do now that you couldn't do last year? And Vin, what are you currently working towards that you could use a little help with? That's my growth bucket. Then I've got a love bucket. And in my love bucket, here are 3 of the questions. Vin, what's the kindest thing that someone has done for you in the last 12 months? Vin, what's a random act of kindness that you could do right now for someone? Vin, how do you show love to the people you love? This one's a big one for me, because I often use my own love language on everybody else, and I don't remember to use their love language for them, right? Oh, that one always gets me. This is a bucket on serving. Here are 3 of mine from the serving bucket, making sure I'm serving the world. Vin, what does the world need more of right now? Vin, how are you going to make a difference in the time that you're here? And Vin, what have you witnessed recently that has restored your faith in humanity? Next bucket is about letting go. Vin, where have you found peace? What do you want to let go of in this chapter? Vin, what do you spend too much time doing? Using the phone. Just calling myself out as I'm reading these. Some of these questions are quite triggering. The next one is about just being me and allowing me to be me. Vin, what's something new you've recently tried for yourself? Vin, what has moved you to tears in the last few months? Actually, it was the thing that moved me to tears was the other day. I was just looking at my daughter, and then she smiled at me, and then I cried. My wife was laughing at me, but just, her smile was so beautiful and sincere and so pure. It just made me cry. Get soft. And Vin, what's most important to you right now in this chapter of life? And I underlined the word you, and then I wrote in brackets, not your family, what is the most important to you? And then I've got another bucket of questions, and I'll just give you a few from these 2. And I've got lots in every bucket simply because, I'll tell you why in a sec, but this next one is my dreams. Vin, what does your perfect day look like in this chapter of life? Vin, if you could meet a fortune teller, what would you ask them? I love this one, because this question, it gives a little bit of insight into what are the things I really want to know about my future, right? And I've got another one here, which is, Vin, if money were no issue and you weren't stressing about money at all, how would you spend your time? I'm showing you a sample of these questions that I have because I think it's really important for you to get to know you more. We live in a world now where we are more interested in other people, more interested in what they're doing, spending our time on social media, looking at their lives. And we're not interested enough in ourselves. I think as you ask yourself more questions, you'll get to know yourself more. And as you get to know yourself more, you have more clarity. And as you have more clarity, you have one of the greatest fuel sources that you could ever need in this life. It's hard though. It's hard to get clarity. But it's worth it. What questions do you ask yourself? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know. Thanks for sitting with me.